Hi, my name is Makasy, and today we are talking about a jacket that I didn't think too much about when I first saw it, and I knew it was kind of like out of my budget because I know how Rick prices his items. So when I saw this, I was like, runway piece, leather, shearling, special detail with the gloves. I knew it was going to be like $5,000, $6,000, but the opportunity presented itself about 2, 3 weeks back, and I took it. It cost me some money, but I guess that's a hobby we're in. Fashion. Fashion is weird. Here's an opportunity to get something, but you have to pay us just at a slight discount. It's really weird. When you think about it, it's really weird. Think like sneakerhead. Hey, enter this stupid contest for a chance to buy our product, not to win the product, for a chance to buy the product. Okay, so jacket. So this was from the Gethsemane, which is one of my favorite collections from Rick. One of my favorite collection overall from any fashion brand with regard to Margiela, the early Lee Alexander McQueen runways, some of Iris Van Herpen. I really like her work, but I just can't afford and I don't have the frame to wear those things. But the Gethsemane jacket, it has one of my favorite jackets. Actually, scratch that. It has my favorite down jacket of all time, the Gethsemane down jacket. Super, super cool. Love the collection so much. And I'm kind of glad that I was able to pick up this piece and to feel what Rick Shearling feels like, because Shearling, there are levels to it. So it really depends on where they source the product, how they cleaned it, the tanning process, the cleaning process. It's a lot of variables. So each brand will have different type of Shearling. So I'm very glad to know what Rick Owens Shearling feels like now. However, the collection, dude, the camera work on that thing was so horrendous. Please, Rick, the team, please hire me. I can set up better shots than that. I can do a lot better work. So please, I'll move to Italy. I'll move to Concordia. And before we continue, despite what you might think, I've only actually been into Rick for like 2, 3 years now. I believe my first collection where I looked deeply into Rick Owens was the Flagathon, which was like 21. So my knowledge on Rick Owens is very good if it's from the Larry collection onward, but I am learning. I'm trying to learn more so I can gain a better appreciation for the brand and to understand why Rick Owens and the team does things the way they do it, because it's like reading a book. The more you learn about the author, the more you will get the inside jokes or the inside messages that some people might not get. Okay, so today we have a lovely jacket. This jacket is called the Rick Owens Sealed Windbreaker Glove Insert Shearling Jacket from the Gethsemane collection. And if you watch the runway, there were a lot of variation on this jacket. So obviously this first one is from look number 6. And then we also have look number 8 with the cloud zipper, and it go down to the knee length. And look number 9 with the same fit but no shearling material. My friend Swan has this. It's a lovely piece, but a bit too bland for me, and I'm not too big a fan of the cinch waist. Look number 11 with the thigh high length with the V-neck, but with snap button closure. Okay, come to think about it, it might be a vest. I'm sure you're looking at the footage, so you decide for yourself what it is. And look number 12. I think it's my favorite look. It's very ominous, and it's the exact same version of this jacket, but just knee length. Look number 13 is called the Peter. I think that's what you call the jacket. I'm not so sure, but it's the same jacket, but it's oversized and it is reversible, but without the glove detailing. Look 29 is the same jacket, but inside out, shearling on the outside and lamb leather on the inside. I prefer the leather on the outside and shearling on the inside, just my preference, because I know this jacket is not reversible, so because of the glove detailing. But had they engineered around that, I think it would have been a game changer. That would have been so cool. Maybe I'll try to flip it, but I don't think the glove is, I don't think you can make it reversible. Maybe I'll try it at the end of this video. In a way, it is reversible, but not fully, because I just can't get the glove part out. But I mean, you can wear this. This is doable. Okay, but yeah, so the Gethsemane collection, a lot of leather, a lot of shearling, a lot of cow fur looks wise, and cow fur is mostly with the footwear and a few jackets, but a lot of shearling and a lot of leather. A few sweater here and there, the banana sweater. And overall, it's a super diverse collection. It's just giving you a little bit of everything. And the closer you look into it, the more you will see the finer details that Rick and the team put into this. And right now on the screen, this is from the show note. This is what Rick had to say about the use of shearling and the glove detailing. Something that we have to remember is that this collection was released during COVID, and Rick was one of the few designers that chose to embrace COVID, whereas some other designer, they chose to like, okay, let's forget the outside world problem. Let me show you what a fun lifestyle could be, what a fun collection could be. But Rick Owens, one of the few who embraced COVID and added face masks onto his runways. And he made face masks brutalist. He made a brutalist version of face masks that people are really in love with it. On the screen now, I'll put some of the masks. It's really cool, but not for me. So this is my first official shearling piece. I've never owned shearling. I've owned polyester, which is called Sherpa. I have this great piece from the Uniqlo and Engineer Garment collab, and that's my favorite fleece, Sherpa, whatever you call it. It's called fleece. So yeah, that's my most worn item, and I love it. But it's polyester. It's 100% polyester. It's made to mimic shearling, and I'm gonna make a comparison video soon because there's a lot of nuances in that conversation that I want to have, and I have a lot of knowledge about shearling now after researching this video, so I would like to pass on that knowledge to you guys. And I also been doing a lot of pickup videos lately. It's good, it's fun, it doesn't need a lot of scripting, but I would like to go back to more educational videos as well. I like doing those because, it doesn't require me to spend thousands of dollars on clothes. But yeah, but with this purchase of this jacket, I can cross off shearling off my list of exotic material. Next up, I would really like to cross off python or kangaroo or bison. I heard bison leather is really good too, but python. But those leather are very costly, especially when it comes to like Rick Owens python or Rick Owens kangaroo. But I am transitioning to my next phase of my life, hopefully soon. So I hope it's a smooth transition, and my next life, the next chapter of my life will afford me to be able to get these pieces and still have fun and make these fun videos. Hopefully the next part of my life is good. I'm a bit scared, but I'm excited, but scared nonetheless. It's that saying of like, I'm stressed about the upcoming stress because it's not here yet. But yeah, so, and with this video, I would like to change up the format a little bit because I normally like list off all the detail and then I give you my opinion at the end about everything. So for this video, I would like to list them and then talk about them right away. I feel like this is a more appropriate way of doing it. Okay, first up, this windbreaker is cropped above hip length with a yoke raglan long sleeve. I love the fact that this jacket is cropped, and as you saw previously, if you want the standard, if you want the knee length, if you want the thigh length, Rick gave you a lot of options. If you want the jacket without the glove detailing, you also can get those. But I prefer the glove detailing. The glove detailing is what does it for me. I'm pretty sure I got the best version of this jacket because crop jacket is just more flattering on most people, especially me. And when you wear high-waisted trousers, when the trousers come up to meet the crop pieces, it really accentuates your height, which is always a plus. I'm 5'10", and there's that rule of 1/3, 2/3 of like 2/3 trousers, 1/3 top. It's a really good look. It's a good ratio. I do that a lot because I have a lot of high-rise trouser and I love crop. I'm 5'10", so I could really, if I can make people think I'm 6', that'd be great. And one of the pros of having a crop jacket is for sure how compatible it is to my trousers. I own a lot of high-rise trousers. This one, for example. I don't own any, I mean, I still do, but I haven't purchased any trousers that aren't high-rise. I have some previous trousers from like my high school year, my college year, where it's like medium rise or low rise. But here's a regular jacket with high-rise pants and a crop jacket with high-rise pants. Do you see how it shows off more of like the trousers? Like, I'm very proud of my collection of high-rise trousers because a lot of mall brand, a lot of streetwear, a lot of stores that you see, when you go out in public, they do a lot of mid-rise and low-rise, which I'm not a fan of. And I guess in a way you can say I'm like a sneakerhead, but with trousers, sneakerhead, don't wear a wide-legged trouser because they want to show off their footwear, their $1,000 footwear. So for me, like, I'm wearing crop jacket to show off my amazing high-rise trousers. So, it's a full circle moment. I used to be a sneakerhead, but yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is the detailing at the bottom. I really like the bottom half of the body. Rick uses a lot of this detail in his jacket. And another thing I love at the bottom is that the shearling kind of overrun its initial spot. So you can see a hint of shearling when you zip it up all the way, which is a really, really nice touch. And I appreciate that because, not a lot of shearling are exposed except for the exposed seam, but I like shearling is a great detailing. I'm not too sure about like having a whole jacket shearling on the outside. I don't own any of those jackets. Maybe I'll change my mind if I see one I like. Oh, actually, there is one I like. It's from Peter Doe. He makes this amazing shearling coat, but it's like $5,000, and they don't really go on sale. But it's a lovely, lovely shearling jacket. Yeah, I guess it goes both ways. But if you were to ask me what my preference is, I would like to say shearling as a detailing and most of the body leather. It features a center front zipper that run up all the way around the hood so it can fully be closed. It's Rick Owens zippers. They're very, very high quality. I do wish this was a two-way zippers. I've grown to really love two-way zippers because it makes sitting a lot easier. If you own two-way zipper jacket or hoodie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This jacket does zip up all the way, as stated earlier, and whenever I see a jacket or a hoodie that zip up all the way, I instantly think of Nigo. I instantly think of Babe because I was brought up into fashion. I start off with streetwear, all the hypebeast stuff, and all the streetwear stuff. And I still love Babe. I have a Babe hoodie that I really like. It just is a nostalgia piece. I don't think I'm ever gonna sell it. But Babe, every time I see a hoodie or anything jacket that zip up all the way, I just instantly, that's a Babe thing. And when I was in high school, Supreme and Babe were just so cool. That was at the height of like streetwear and sneakerhead where you were still camping out. Now they do all this whole lottery stuff, but yeah, camping out was a lot more fun. It's a lot more chaotic, but it was a lot more fun. And yeah, the height of sneakerhead and streetwear culture was definitely 2013 to 2015. Maybe that's a bias because that was when I was into streetwear. So I don't have an objective view of this. Quick short story. So when I was in high school, I was in these like Facebook group, selling sneakers, and there was these two guys. I don't know their name, but one of them had the last name of Jones, and like he owns so many of these Visvim pieces. He owns so many Bape pieces, Supreme pieces, and I was like, damn, that guy is so cool. Like I was like idolizing him almost, just like the amount of stuff he had. But he was like 25, 26 at the time, so he was working, he had money, so obviously he was able to afford it. Now I'm 24, 25, and I can afford it. So if you are in high school, if you're in middle school, if you are still in school, and you're looking at me and you feel jealous that I own all these stuff, or not jealous, like if you think, wow, that's amazing, it's gonna be your turn soon. Like when you're older, when you have a job like me, when you're more grown, you have more money, so you will be able to afford all of these things. So please don't worry too much. You will get there. But yeah, I think I definitely have a better closet than that Jones guys now. Maybe not. Actually, I still own a lot of like, not a lot. I own a few like hype pieces. I have the Supreme jackets, the Babe hoodie, the Supreme. I have a lot of. I still have a good amount of Supreme stuff. So yeah, and I know he doesn't have the Rick Owens stuff that I have. So yeah, I've superseded my idol, high school idol collection. Next up, it has two large side front pockets. Half of it is full grain leather, half of it is shearling. I am not a big fan of this at all. It feels so off when you touch it. Like half of it is shearling, half of it is leather. I would much prefer they picked one, both fully leather or fully Sherpa in there, shearling in there. And it's just the shearling is also a lot thinner when you compare it to the body of the shearling. When you compare it to the body, the shearling on the body, the shearling in the pockets is a lot thinner. And I don't trust these pockets at all with anything valuable of mine. There's no button closure, there's no zipper, and it doesn't have that curve to keep the items in. And it does not have any interior pockets, which is more true to the Runway. But I've seen it on Grail, like some version of this have pockets, have interior pockets. So Rick is kind of known for his interior pockets, but I am glad that my jacket is more like the runway piece. It's like it feels better to own pieces that's been on the runway. It's fun to say that. I guess that's a very elitist way of thinking, but it's like there's a reason why the designer, your favorite designer, put it on the runway. They're proud of it, so you should feel proud to own the pieces too. So it's a very elitist way of thinking, but it makes sense, you know. Would I love the interior pocket? Yeah, for the practical reason, but I like the fact that it is runway. When I do wear this, if I need to put my phone, my wallet, my AirPod, it's definitely gonna go in my trousers, not go into these pockets. I do not trust it at all. It's just gonna slide in and out. Maybe I'll do a test right now. Like I'll just lean back and forth and see if it would fall out. Okay, the main detail. So the long sleeve terminate in a touchscreen glove with forearm zip to pop hands out at the wrist. To be honest, this was the main reason as to why I got this jacket. Shearling's great, everything's great, but it's the glove detailing. Then another thing that you should notice is that when you look closer, I'm sure I'm putting up the B-roll, the pointy finger has an opening and the thumb is also exposed. This is just to compensate for our current culture. You know, everyone's on their phone. I see it as a good thing with regard to phone. Okay, so I'm gonna go off topic for a little bit. So with regards to phones, like my partner and I have been talking about kids a lot. We're not gonna have kids anytime soon, but we have talked about it and like just trying to see how we would like to parent our kids, our non-existent kids. So with regards to phone, I don't think I'm gonna have like an arbitrary law as to like, okay, at this age you can have it. I think the moment they ask for it, I would just give it to them because I don't want to be too strict on them because it's hard. It's hard to be one of those strict parents to like try to prevent the mistake that the kids will make. The kids are gonna make the mistake. They're gonna do it. You can't really prevent it. And if you're gonna be too strict on it, they're just gonna do it and not tell you. So I'd rather them tell me or like feel like there's an open line of communication with us, the parents, to talk about it. This is just at the moment, this is just the experience that I've had and what I would like to do. I'm going to improve on how I would like to parent, but for now, that's how I would do it. So they can experience it whatever they want to do, i.e., like drugs, smoking, and breaking into like abandoned building, all of the illegal stuff that 12 to 15-year-old are going to get into because that's just going to be their rebellious stage. They're going to do those things. You can't prevent it. You can just be there for them when they make the mistake. By doing that, it will let them know like, hey, if you are going to make this mistake, we will be here for you. It will also kind of let them know that like, okay, my parents have this trust in me, so I should be responsible with whatever action I take. Like I'm hoping that this trust and belief that I put into them, it will develop their critical thinking a bit faster. So mistakes are avoided by them without me interfering or without my partner having to yell at them. I think that's a better way to raise a kid. Like you might disagree with me, but I think it's a much more healthy way. The point is I just want to let them know that if you are going to make this mistake, we will still be here for you. We will still love you. We're not going to think less of you. So if you do get caught by the police for drinking alcohol in public, whatever it is you did, I want you to be able to come to me and like, hey, this happened. I'm sorry. I would do better, because I wasn't raised that way. My mom and I, we don't have the greatest communication skill. It's very like, I may. Okay, here's a good example. I'm still not over this. When I was like 6, 7 year old, we went on this vacation. We were in Cambodia, and I was running across the room, but we just gotten back from the beach, so my feet was still wet, and I ran to the bathroom and I fell. And my mom was like, "You fucking idiot! Why did you fall?" I didn't choose to fall. it happened. I made a mistake. I didn't like, you know what? I'm gonna run to the bathroom and fall and hit my head on purpose. No, I didn't think that way, but it just like she was just like reprimanding me for the mistake that I made instead of just be like, "Are you okay? Okay, you did this mistake. Try not to do that again." So I would like to not repeat that with my kids when we do have them. But let's get back to the glove detailing. I know that was a long story. Initially, I had a big problem with the glove. I couldn't fit my finger into them because there's just so much shearling in there, and my hands, they're rather large. And what I've been doing is I've been stuffing paper into them and just keep them in for like 5, 6 days just to spread the shearlings. After doing that for like a week or two now, I can put my hands into them now and I can, use my hands. It's still a bit tight, but the paper kind of just shift the shearling around in there, so like it marks a way for your fingers to go through them. But the gloves are still tight, but it's kind of loosening it up. So I think the more I wear it, the more I wear it, the more comfortable it's gonna get. But the first time I tried it, I was losing blood flow to my finger. I couldn't feel it after like 5 minutes. But after the stuffing the paper thing, it has worked and doing well. I'm doing well so far. I know this is like fourth world problem right now. I'm expressing to you, so please continue to pray for me for this problem that I have. As far as using my phone goes, I can only use the thumb because there's just so much fabric, so much shearling. It just yes, the exposed pointy fingers there, but since the glove is so large and the proportion is so off, it doesn't feel great to use my phone with it. Like for short use, like checking the GPS, changing the music, or answering phone call, that's fine. But if I want to touch, it's such a big hassle. I rather just take my hands out, put it through the wrist to the wrist opening, and then just touch that way. But it's a big hassle. Oh, and lastly, if you're looking at the beer right now, you can see on the glove part, you can see a hint of the unwaxed or the not waxed leather, which is like a great little detail. It reminds me of like those motorcycle gloves, it's just better for gripping. But the puffiness from the shearling makes the glove a bit unusable, and it's like it's like trying to fit a very tight hand between the seat of your car when you drop your phone. It's really hard. You have to move the seat to put your hand in there. So it feels that way. But the leather on the glove, I wish the whole body was like that slight leather on the glove part, but it's fine. We'll talk more about this in the material. And lastly, my second favorite part, the zippers on the forearm. I love this detail so much. My Raf Simon kind of have that too, but I don't think it was intentional. Maybe it was. Raf, somebody from Raf or the team, somebody from Raf Simon, if you can slide in my DM and let me know if that was on purpose. But you can also put your hand through the exposed forearm. But I love this detail, the zippers. The zipper on Rick Owens are always high quality, and the opening on the wrist or forearm is about 12 to 16 inches, which is great. And yeah, zippers. I've never had problem with Rick Owens zipper. Never once did I feel like, okay, the zipper's falling apart. I gotta go to the tailor or cobb or whatever, wherever you take your jacket to fix the zipper. I've never done that. And the great thing about this is that it's silver, so it adds a bit of pop of color to it. So it's great. It looks great on the garment. And Rick does on some of his other jackets, he still do this little detail, but it's more practical for this jacket because if you don't want to put your hand through the glove part, you can just put it through the wrist or through the forearm. So it makes more sense for this jacket than this jacket. This little detail on the forearm becomes more of like a design rather than like for functionality, and like as a second option for you to take the hands out instead of just putting it through the glove. You can take it through. I'm over explaining this. I'm just gonna cut this part out. I mainly wear this jacket with my hand through the forearm and have the glove dangle because it's like I'm a puppet master. I'm marionetting a puppet. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, it's a bit impractical though because when I need to do stuff, the glove kind of just get in the way. For example, eating. It is so hard to eat with this. The glove thing would just hit everything else on the table. It's very annoying. Like whenever I have to eat, I just take the jacket off. Next up, exposed shearling seam throughout. My initial impression, I was a bit iffy on this because though it does make the jacket stand out, it's like why? Maybe a more black is like more uniform, but the seam does make the jacket stand out. It's like it's good, but it's also not good. It's like it really depends on the day. Like today I could love it, tomorrow I could hate it. It's just one of those little things. Like if it were to be all plain, it could be boring, but what if you want to be boring that day? You know, it's just you can argue it for both ways. If you would have asked me to just have an opinion on this and stick to it, I like the exposed shearling because it makes the jacket a bit more dynamic, a bit less boring. So it's good. The little detail is good. And also, let's put up the runway version right now, and you can see that the runway, the shearling on the exposed seams are more pronounced. And I think with wears, the shearling will continue to expose himself. It's like it's a neat little touch. It's like the jacket is like aging with you, showing the time. So the more you wear it, the more the shearling will come out, which is great, you know. It's like those Raf Simons pieces that were dyed with enzyme, the Nebraska sweater. So the more wear and wash you put it through, the more it's gonna deteriorate. So it's a nice little touch to show the garment aging with you. Nowadays, companies kind of just do their best to make their product look the same and hope it stayed the same. So it's kind of nice that the designer kind of go away from that and like, okay, your garment, they're going to age with you and we're going to show you how they're going to age with you. It's nice. For me, I'm fine with it, but I know for some other people might not be, especially those chicks. Like, I'm sure you experienced this. I'm sure you've seen this. Those chicks that are like, who baby their bags, like, if you're at an airport, they would put the bag on like a separate seat. If you're on the bus or on the train, they would like put the little bag on another seat. And like it can be a full train, but they will still put the bag on the little seat. And like these people, they will, when they get home, they will stuff the bag with paper, put into the duffel, not duffel, the protective bag, and like store it correctly. It just that's not for me. I feel like that's just putting too much work. Come on, just wear it. You know, it's fine.
Working on empty. Is it the kind of weight to face the burning heat? I just think about my baby. I'm so full of love I could barely eat. There's nothing sweeter than my baby. I never want once from the cherry tree. It's my baby, sweet as can be. She gives me 2 dicks just from kissing me. When my time comes around, lay me gently in the cold dark. No grave can hold my body down.
Not reversible. I don't know why, but when I got it, when I clicked buy now, I was like, damn, it might actually be reversible. But like my brain wasn't acting logical because when you think about it, it's very hard to reverse a glove, and especially the glove is attached to like a large body, so you can't really reverse it. But maybe I did that little experiment earlier and you were able to. Okay, judge for yourself. But yeah, so the color, so they call this the pearl white with regard to shearling, and the black is just black. And I do like the fact that the shearling is this like coked out white, because I'm not a big fan of like when shearlings are this color or this color, especially on that yeah, do you guys remember that Gucci shearling jacket? I don't like the color on that. It makes it look dirty. It makes it look like cheap. I think, excuse me, I think this white shearling just looks the best. I know it doesn't really make sense what I'm saying, but it's like in my head it makes sense. To you it might be not a big deal, but for me it's a big deal. But material, okay, so on the screen right now it's just a little breakdown of all of the material, and we will tackle this one by one. This is my favorite part of any video, and for this video it's gonna be extra long. Okay, so let's talk about leather first. So this is lambskin leather. We'll talk about the other side in a second, the shearling. And on some website it says calf leather, but on some website it says lamb leather, and it doesn't specify on. It just says lamb leather shearling. So I believe mine is lamb, and my minimal knowledge on leather is that I believe this to be lamb leather because I have calf leather jacket and it doesn't feel the same. And this leather has a natural grain texture, waxy finish on one side and curly hair on the other side. Just try to remember that. It will play a big role into this segment right now, the material. And I did a lot of research on Rick and his use of leather. However, I should preface by saying I'm not an expert. So if I am incorrect on something, just let me know in the comment and I'll look into it, and I will apologize for the mistake that I made. But I've looked into a lot of regular product and I'm fairly knowledgeable about the brand, and he mostly uses full grain leather, and which is the best kind of leather. So there are three kinds of leather. There are full grain, top grain, and genuine leather.
So the best leather and strongest and most durable is just below the hair on the cow, and this is called full grain leather. This is where the fibers are the densest and the tightest, and this leather is going to age the best, get the best patina, and last the longest. In addition to being the strongest and best leather, it also has the most character. So what's cool is it has like nicks and scratches from the cow's life, and then a lot of times it'll even have like the brand mark from the rancher. And then so the next best leather is called top grain leather. So with top grain leather, what they do is they sand down the top couple millimeters. It gets rid of those scratches, and it kind of gives them more of like a clean cut, like a cookie cutter type leather. So this is like what like huge manufacturers would do when they want to create like a million of the same product. They need it to look perfect. They're not concerned about the character and the strength of their product.
Most people think genuine leather is the best grade. Well, I hate to break it to you, but it's not. We'll get back to that in a minute though. At Jackson Wayne, we use only premium full grain cowhide leather in all of our products. This is the full, natural cowhide with all of its layers intact. It provides the most strength, beauty, and character. Simply put, this is the best grade of leather you can get. The next grade down is called top grain leather. This grade of leather is still decent, but it's been sanded down or resurfaced in some way and therefore weaker than full grain leather. It's often used in upholstery and cheaper leather goods. Okay, let's talk about genuine leather. It's usually one of the worst grades because it's a catch-all term that can include pretty much anything. Thin scraps of leather, sanded, altered, or split leather, even pig or goat leather. Genuine leather really just means technically it's leather, but... So trust me, once you go full grain, you won't want to go back.
Imagine finding out your Chanel bag is made from top grain leather or genuine leather instead of full grain leather. That would really diminish your perception of the brand Chanel. So with any high fashion brand, you can bet that most of them use full grain leather. If you don't know what I mean, let's use diamond. I've been researching diamond a lot lately. So when you are buying a diamond, you want to look at a lot of things, but let's focus on the color. So you want the diamond to be as colorless as possible because that way it will be shinier when it hits the sun. So the grade go from D, the best, to K, the worst. So you want to be on the D side. And you know, a regular person will look at a diamond and judge the value of it by its size, but the enthusiasts or people who have knowledge, they will know that although size matter, the colors and clarity matters as well. If the color and clarity is bad, it's not good to just have the biggest diamond. So here's a 1 carat diamond with D grade, and here's one with K grade. Same size, but different price. And another great detail I saw about this on the tag that came with the jacket is that this is Napa leather, and it got me excited because a couple of years back I was like car shopping with my family, and I just keep seeing that word, Napa leather, Napa leather.
Napa leather, I am sure, as a buyer of the Mercedes-Benz cars, especially on the higher end ones, you come across that title. So, in short, Napa leather, it's very strong. Napa leather, it's very, very smooth on the touch. And Napa leather is the highest grade of leather that is being used in the car interiors like Mercedes-Benz. And many of the other manufacturers are using the same. Again, the properties of the Napa leather that is so wanted by the car makers and its clients, it's because it is very strong, it's very subtle, it's very, very smooth to the touch, and keeps its appearance over a very, very long period of time. Napa leather, it's not sanded. Napa leather, it's not buffed. By sanding or buffing the leather, you're weakening the leather. So you're not getting that strength that Napa leather delivers on many of the car interiors. And the sanding or the buffing of the leather is done to make that part of the leather smoother. It is used in some of the car makers' interiors, but Napa leather, as it is what is not, it's not sanded, it is not buffed to be great. Basically, just except the removal of the hair, what you have is the premium top product of the leather that it's on the car interior.
Napa leather is just a term for the dyeing process of a full-grain unsplit leather. Most high-end company, whether it's a clothing industry or automotive or furniture, they use full grain because it's the best. And Napa is a dyeing process that is known to be the best. So Napa, what is Napa? So Napa is just, it takes its name from Napa, California. The process of making Napa leather was created by a man named Emmanuel Manasseh in around 1875, and he was a German tanner who at the time was working with the Sawyer Tanning Company in Napa Valley. And it was discovered by him that treating hides with chromiums or aluminum sulfate could make the leather soft without sacrificing their strength. So upon the discovery of this process, the term Napa leather was coined, and with it, Manasseh or Emmanuel found great riches, and he was later named partner at the Sawyer Tanning Company due to the great success of the Napa leather process. Another great thing about this is that it's hypoallergenic, so for people who have allergy, you're good. And full grain just means it will last for a really long time. And also full grain means this. I forgot to put in my note, so I'll put it up here. There's only one con with Napa leather, is that it's incredibly expensive. So just, the process, you use full grain, the dyeing process is much longer, so it's a lot more expensive. Okay, and right now I should just tell you a little bit of my opinion about this Napa leather. So the outer leather, lambskin, just stating it again in case you forgot, it's very soft. The lamb leather, it's so much softer than my calf leather, and it gives me extra reassurances that it went through the Napa dyeing process, so it makes me feel a bit more secure. And another thing is that you could also see like slight differences in the breakage of the leather or the pattern. I'll just show you a comparison with this and my calf leather. You can see the breakage a lot clearer. So it's like looking at an animal hide. It's like, it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. This is why I hate patent leather, because they add so much chemical to make it look shiny, to make it look perfect. But we have to remember that this leather came off of an animal, and an animal that lived through life, it's gone through a lot of different environments. So the skin is not the same. Like when you look at your own skin, it's not perfectly level or equal to every other part. So I like the fact that it's just as natural as can be. And if you look closely, it is pebble grain leather or crackle or weather, whatever you want to call it. Pebble leather is achieved by a milling process where the manufacturer tumble the leather in drums for a really long time, like way longer than usual. This is why you see the pebble grain and you see the breakage in the leather. It's a nice, natural looking dyeing process. And I learned this from that leather guy that I'm sure you've seen on Instagram and TikTok lately. I'll put it on the screen. A very knowledgeable dude. I've learned a lot from his page. He's a really good guy. If you want, go subscribe to him. But yeah, again, I hate patent leather or any shiny leather because it looks cheap and unnatural to me. And I want my leather to look as natural as can be. And I think brand got to do better at educating the consumer, because humans, we tend to overdo things. So brand just got to show a bit of restraint and educate the consumer. They're like, hey, your leather is not supposed to look perfect because it's an animal product. The skin is not great. When you look at your arm, your skin is not evened out. You're going to see different pattern, different breakage, like it's a natural product. So it's not supposed to look perfect, and it's a skin of an animal. But a lot of company, they add a lot of chemical to the leather, so they would have like a more uniform look across their production line. So it's easy on the expenses, but you're messing up with the natural, great looking leather already. You don't have to do that. Just educate the consumer. Let them know it's not supposed to be perfect, because it's not. It's a natural material. It's not man-made. And I also want to show you this lamb leather with the waxy finish, and the leather and my other lamb leather without the waxy finish. And I emailed Rick Owens about a different product, and here's what he had to say about the waxy finish. Okay, so the waxy finish, I'm not a big fan. I see why Rick and the team did it, because it makes the leather look older, looks more worn in or weathered. It's like rich people building a house and then they mess it up on purpose to make it look old. Similar concept. Think Daniel Osham. Actually, no. Okay, I don't like that guy that much, or at least I don't like the persona he puts on. So think Yoji. some of his product, like they make it, okay, think Margiela. He would make his product look perfect and then deconstruct it to make it look messy because they want to show you the process on how it's made. It's to show the human element in the making of this thing. Am I reading too deep into this? But yeah, again, I'm not a big fan of the waxy finish. I wish it looked like the leather on the glove detailing. It just, but you know, again, no item is perfect. You can't find the perfect jacket. There's always a little small detail that won't live up to your expectation, which is a great way to look at life. My partner, she's very strict on like her dream, her image, and I'm telling her like, as long if a 10 is perfect, as long as what you wanted it to look like is an 8 or a 9, it's fine. Just don't expect to be a 10 all the time because you're never gonna get a 10 all the time. You're never gonna envision a day. You never plan a day. Let's do this. You never go on vacation, you plan everything, it will not go 100% according to the plan you set. You should be satisfied with 8, 9, or 7 even. So it's a flaw that I can look past, but it's not a big deal because it's like choosing between a Rolex or a Patek. They're both good. And the jacket, it feels a bit foamy. I think it's very soft, and it's soft to the point where it's like touching foam. So I think this is due to the amount of shearling that's attached to the leather, because this jacket is a fucking unit. There are leather jackets that are thin. This jacket is not one of them. It's so thick, and the waxy finish, it does soften up the leather and makes it less plasticky. But so, okay, for example, look at this side by side. You can't feel it, but you can kind of tell that this one is a bit more plasticky, and the one that has a waxy finish, it looks to be softer to the touch. And you can see the breakage of the leather a bit more with the waxy finish. And Rick Owens, he typically tan his product with some sort of vegetable. Again, it's just a matter of preference. Like, do you want it to look matted, or do you want it to look shiny, or maybe shiny, not a good word, satiny? Yeah, whatever the opposite of matte is. Okay, so we got the leather out of the way. Let's talk about Shearling now. So I wasn't that knowledgeable, so I did a lot of research to try to learn as much as possible because I want to appreciate what I have in front of me. So we're gonna be in like a little TED talk for a second. So we need to distinguish between lambskin shearling and sheepskin shearling. So sheepskin is older sheep, lambskin is young sheep or lamb. So sheepskin is a bit rougher to the touch and not as soft. It's like same concept to like a baby skin, you know. That baby hasn't gone through life a lot, so its skin is still a lot smoother than ours. Like, we have fallen, we've gone through terrible weather, so our skin is a bit more rough. So sheep is more rough than lamb. So if you're looking for the softest shearling, look for lamb shearling, not sheep shearling. So what is shearling? So shearling is the skin from a recently shorn sheep or lamb that has been tanned and dressed with the wool left on. It has a suede surface on one side and a clip fur surface on the other. Usually the suede side is one outward. Real shearling is also more flexible, and it's much heavier in weight. And the fur is more dense than the synthetic, which is what we talked about earlier, the Sherpa.
Drink the whole sea, it's something shiny, it's something meaningful to being caught. There's a fine looking out. What's in God in the stable? We've a Lord of starving faithful. That looks tasty, that looks plenty. This is hungry work. Take me to church, I'll push it like a dog in the shine of your light. Love, tell you my sins, and you can sharpen your knife. I'm gonna be there.
So genuine shearling is also smoother to the touch than the synthetic. So this is a very tactile topic, so I can't really tell you. So go to your local mall, touch any real shearling. Go to like a high-end store like Burberry, Dior, touch their shearling, and then you can go to Zara. So I was able to learn a lot about shearling from the website shearling.com. It's a very appropriate name. So there are a lot of shearling. So okay, so my opinion on the shearling that we have at hand, the Rick Owens shearling. So this shearling feels super soft on the skin. It obviously feels better than my cow fur because, you know, wool, just the other is hair, this is wool shearling, so it's a lot better. the upside of Shearling, you know, it doesn't come off as easily as the hair, and the wool stick to the lambskin leather a lot more than the hair on the cow fur. And I've run my face through them so many times just to test it out, and there's zero itch to it. It's super, super soft, and the cow fur, it itches my neck a little bit, but with the Shearling, it does not itch at all. Zero, zero itch. And I've slept with this, dude. When I tell you that Shearling feels so good to sleep in, I mean it, because I am currently in the process of looking at Shearling blanket, because that's how great Shearling has been to me. It's opened my eyes up to a whole new material that, excuse me, that I haven't experienced. There's also zero smell to it. Some animal material have smell, like alpaca. Alpaca has a certain smell to it, camel as well, and merino wool also has a bit of smell to it. This one, I couldn't smell anything. Maybe that's like a buy because it's a new item, so like my brain is like trying to ignore all the smell that comes from. But so far, not zero smell. And I'm also not the greatest at describing smell, so I'm hoping some of you have the material in front of you and you know what I'm talking about. And the Shearling, they do come off, but not as often as my cow fur. It doesn't come off as easily, so hopefully it doesn't get to the point where you can spot like the empty spot of the Shearling. So, and you know, Shearling is known for its longevity because, you know, it's good material. You just have to care for the Shearling a bit more. It's like when you wear a down jacket, you know, you should be a bit more careful around sharp objects, because if you cut your down jacket, there'll be a hole, and then the downs and the feather will come out, so then it won't be as warm. So you just have to be a bit more careful, try not to get it dirty, because otherwise you have to take it to cleaner. And Shearling, I'm sure it costs a lot to have it dry clean. And the Shearling is also very long. So they said the longer the hair, the better it is, because okay, I don't know how many of you are watch enthusiasts like me. So think about, I've been obsessed with the Rolex Explorer recently. So think about the Rolex 114270 versus the 124270. So from afar, from the outside, you can't really tell the difference, but the 124270 has a longer power reserve. The balance bridge and the oscillator are more shock resistant. Maybe that's a bad example because not a lot of people watch people. So the point is, the Shearling is really long and it's really good. From afar, you might not see how long it is, but when you compare this Shearling to another Shearling, it's long. Okay, next up about the material, calf leather trimming. So calf leather is obviously more durable. My cow fur has lamb leather trimming. This one has lamb leather on the whole body, has calf leather for the trimming. Just, it's a matter of preference. So because they're both durable, just lamb is not as durable as, it's like choosing between a Samsung and an iPhone. It just, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Android or iOS? So I think you will only notice it if you have calf and lamb and you constantly switch between the two jackets. And I was also researching into the Mastodon collection recently, and I saw this look, and it has the same waxy leather finish, so, and the Shearling. So this has been in Rick Owens' repertoire for a while now. All right, measurement. I haven't stated it yet. Yeah, I don't think I did. So I am 5'10", 175 pounds. Gained a few pounds recently, but hopefully I still look good in front of the camera. So I normally wear a size large or extra large with my outerwear, and the jacket you're seeing on me right now is a size small, or a size 40 women. And the reason I was so confident with the sizing, because I saw how wide the chest and the shoulders are, because most Rick Owens, they're really wide with those areas, the shoulder and the chest. They just, sometimes they have the high armhole, which my Klaus jacket has. This one, it fits great. It fits normal. So I was able to fit these, and you know, there are pros and cons to the high armhole. It looks better, but it's not as comfortable. So this is a bit more relaxed, so it's like droopy a little bit. So it's a matter of preference. And I guess Rick really want that high armhole to look good, but it feels a bit robotic when you have to keep your arm like this and not like this, you know. So I am able to fit this jacket perfectly. It's cropped to perfection on me. You might disagree. The sleeve, extra long by design, which I love. I love how long the sleeves are, and there's no discomfort around the shoulder, the chest, or the arm. I do have a little bit of problem, but so this jacket has a hood that you can zip up all the way, right? But my head, it's so large, I can't zip the jacket up all the way. So ideally, I would have loved a size medium or a size large. I feel like the hood on those would be bigger, so that's my only that's the only con with the sizing on this. I can't zip it up all the way because my head is so large and the hood on the jacket is so small. If you were to ask me for sizing recommendation, I would say go your true size or a size under or two size under. Never go over, because if you still want the crop look, don't go over, go your true size, because I'm a natural large, extra large even, and I can fit a small. So just look at the measurement again and then measure your perfect jacket. And then if you're buying it at second hand, just ask them for measurement, compare it to your body, compare it to your perfect jacket, and then go from there. So for example, my perfect jacket is this. So I can deviate 1 inch or 2 away from it, but if it's like 3 to 4, I will not get the jacket. Retail on these. I found some of them stated 5,200, and I found some as high as $6,125. Let's just agree that is incredibly overpriced. However, you know, Napa leather, top quality lamb's wool shearling, full grain leather, calf leather trimming, the waxy finish, the glove design, manufacturing, because you can't just go to like your factory and be like, I want this shape, just do this material, because they have to create this from scratch, you know. So they have to cut a new pattern for this. So there's a lot of justification that you can make, but it is not worth $5,000, $6,000. I got it for slightly less.
I could cry.
Okay, so my opinion on this jacket, it's a wonderful jacket, and I will admit, when I first got it, it was more like, okay, I own cow fur, I own leather, but I don't own any genuine shearling. So it was more like, if I get this, can cross off one more exotic material on my list. I can make a comparison to my cow fur, because as much as I can study about shearling, I have to feel it. I have to know what it's like. So, and now that I've owned a shearling piece, I kind of want more shearling pieces now, like shearling blanket, shearling pillow, whatever. And I saw this Loewe shearling jacket on Grail. Beautiful, beautiful piece, but it's a bit overpriced. If you're the seller, if you wanted to sell it for like $300, I'll buy it. I'll pay for shipping. It's not like it's not a need. It's more like a want. So I'm not willing to shell out $700 or $800, whatever this guy prices items at. Let's talk love first. I love the shearling. I love the leather. I love the glove. You know, the Napa leather is great. The calf trimming, being able to zip it up all the way, but anyway, it's my problem. But yeah, there's a lot to this jacket that I love. And okay, the thing I love the most is the forearm opening, because it's such a functional detail, because it's not just like there for the look. It has a function. So it's super cool. I love the exposed fingers on the pointy fingers and the thumb, because you know, it's like Rick knows the current climate, which is that everybody's on their phone. So he's giving you that opportunity. And the shearling inside, it's gonna be super, super great when it comes to winter. The only bad thing is that I got this in May, so I've only been able to wear it for a couple of days, because there has been some cold days here and there. But I wish I had gotten this in January, then I would have gotten more wears out of it. So that's like really the only thing bad I can think about this jacket. Everything else is lovely, as stated earlier. The leather is amazing. The shearling, so soft to the skin, so warm. The glove detail, the hood, everything is just perfect. The only con is that I got it in May, and I'm kind of angry at that. And you know, now that I know what shearling feels like, it's kind of hard to go back to polyester or Sherpa. So it's like after watching Before Sun.
Dring, 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 dring. Pick up. What? Pick up the phone.
Oh, hello.
Allô? Vanny, c'est Céline.
Ah,
Comment ça va?
ça va bien. Et toi?
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it for lunch today. I'm sorry. I I met a guy on the train and I got off with him in Vienna. We're still there.
And then you go back to watching like Hallmark romantic movies. You've seen Before Sunrise, so you know how love should be portrayed on film now. So it's hard to go back to these generic movies with all of these stereotypes that it's just super unrealistic, like all the tropes in these Hallmark movies, you know. So it's one of those situations. But yeah, this jacket has opened up a new avenue for me, which is that shearling. I found out that I love shearling now. It's like when I first got my Klaus jacket, I found out I like cow fur. I like the look of it. And it's like when I first discovered that turtleneck looks good on me. Like when I got my first turtleneck, I was like, yep, I want 7 more. And I did. Yeah, I kind of fear that this jacket has done that to me with shearling. So I'm gonna ease up and not get too many shearling pieces because it's summertime now, so I should buy more appropriate clothing. But next winter, I'm definitely getting a shearling blanket. That's a must. That's a need, not a want, because it is so comfortable. Oh my God, it's so good. I cannot wait to have shearling blanket. Maybe I can get like shearling on one side and then down on the other side, so I can flip if it's, you know, it's just options. Option is good. I think this jacket will be great when I go hiking with my partner and her family. They love hiking, like, or if we go camping. Like, it would make a great sleeping jacket or just like hiking jacket, because you know, like when you go hiking, you can like your hand, there's just gonna be a lot of trees, a lot of, you know, so you'll be touching a lot of stuff. So if you just insert your hands in the glove part, you'll be fully protected from the element. So that's super cool, and it's also stylish. And it's also warm, so if we go hiking in the winter, it'll be great. As far as warmthness and like protecting you from the element goes, I couldn't do much testing, so I wanted to do more, but it's not cold anymore. So I will make another video in next winter, hopefully in January. So I will use December and November to test it out in the cold, stand outside more than 10 minutes, you know. So I would like to do more testing to provide you with an answer as to how warm this jacket is and how great it is as a winter jacket. But for now, I'm still sticking to my down jacket because I just believe down to be warmer than shearling. But I don't have a personal experience to tell you that, but just from my research, it just look at these photos of people climbing Mount Everest or going to Antarctica. They're wearing down jacket, they're not wearing shearling jacket. They have shearling trimming just to keep it windproof, but overall it's more down. So, and I am a bit worried about sweating in these because although shearling is like water repellent-ish, but they do retain the smell. So like the smell of sweat is not great. So I am gonna be a bit more careful with this. And while doing the B-roll for this video in May, like it was kind of hot there, so I was a bit worried about getting it dirty. And yeah, it's easy to clean, but the smell is gonna be here for a while. But yeah, I'm gonna make that video soon comparing shearling versus down and shearling versus Sherpa, because though I like doing these pickup video, I would like my channel to be a bit more diverse, because the fashion YouTube, it's just, there's a lot of pickup already, and you know, those videos are good, but I also want to make educational video that will, you know, like you can gain something out of it instead of just looking at me talking about a pickup. It's good, but it's like, I just have to keep it balanced. But yeah, I think this is like my longest video review ever. So hopefully it has passed the 60-minute mark. Like, I'm not looking forward to editing it, but I am looking forward to uploading it and seeing that 60 minutes. I will feel proud. And you know, it's not just like 60 minutes of nothingness. It's substantial. So it's a good 60 minutes. But yeah, I'll end this video by telling you what I'm wearing. So, sorry. This is a Bodhi shirt. This is my Rico and Creech cargo trousers. Amazon glasses. My name is Makasy. I will talk to you next week.
Shine